Good morning. This is my critique of the GFTA assessment. I had the opportunity to access assessment through my sister, who is a speech and language pathologist at Cincinnati Children's Hospital at the Liberty campus. So she had all sorts of access to all sorts of assessments when it comes to assessments in terms of speech and language therapy and stuff. So what the overview of the GFTA assessment? It is called the Goldman-Fristow Test of Articulation. The purpose of the assessment is to measure speech sounds abilities in the areas of articulation in children, adolescents, and adults. We may know, what is articulation? It is a form of clear and distinct sounds in speech. The key for the administrator when administering this assessment is to see if the test taker is making correct sounds in words and sentences. For example, the word apple. Is the child making the ah sound, the puh sound, and ending with the LE sound at the end, like apple? Is all sounds being made? And then during the administration, the administrator will jot down those errors when that test taker is sounding out the words. How is this test done? It's done in a one-on-one setting, and it takes about 15 minutes to complete. Reliability. Reliability, see if the scores among the takers are pretty consistent. In terms, since I'm a sports guy, an example of good reliability in terms of the sports world is if a pitcher has an earned run average of 6.00, then that pitcher may not be super reliable to getting batters out. But if that pitcher has an earned run average of 1.45, then we can usually count on that pitcher to get you out of an inning and to move you on to the next inning. When it comes back into this test, the internal consistency of the test scores computed were based on the number of errors and the number of sounds produced correctly or incorrectly was evaluated using coefficient alpha for each of the two tests. The reliability ended up being confidence ended up being between 90 and 95%. They also retested these kids that were in the ages of between 2 and 13 on the same day or within 21 days. The test scores were higher during the second administration, and that was due to more practice after that first test and being more familiar with the validity. This accuracy assessment is whether or not it's measuring what it's supposed to measure. Let's take a bathroom scale, for example. You get on a scale, jump for joy, and it says you weigh 190 pounds. But you quickly remember at your doctor's appointment the previous day you weighed 200 pounds. Therefore, you remember that scale is full of crap, and now you have to face reality that you do weigh 200 pounds. And if you want to get down to that 190, then you need to lose that weight. The validity of this specific assessment was supported using evidence from the actual test itself, response process, and the performance in a clinical group of sound disorders. So this test was done among suspected sound disorders. 89% of individuals were correctly identified as not having a speech disorder when they did not. So the validity of this was successful. Scoring information. This was an assessment, as you can see, from a child. And then, as you can see, the child was supposed to score in his upper 90 percentile, and this child did not. It scored around 85%, which identified the child as having a speech disorder. As you can see, it has like a raw score, a standard score, and then the percentile with the little graph in that box there, evaluating where the child should be and where the child fell. Overview. The strengths of the assessment that it proves serves its purpose to seeing if a child or adult has a speech impediment when it comes to making sounds in words and sentences. How would I use this assessment? This is designed for a speech and language pathologist, but I would borrow this assessment if I am concerned that a child is struggling with sounds. Also, you could make up your own mini assessment similar to this one if you suspect a language disorder with a child, and if you suspect that, then you would refer that person to the speech and language pathologist. I like how this assessment is very short and sweet, and younger kids usually have a low attention span, so this is a good one to use that does not take a lot of time. Overview, I just want to show you some pictures of this assessment. As you can see, there's like 60 words that a child has to say, and then the administrator scores the child on the right. So then the next slide is where they get to read out the sounds and sentences, making sure they're pronunciating the sentences correctly. Again, this assessment does a great job in assessing the correct pronunciation of sounds, especially those that are young. It is good to detect speech and language disorders before it may be too late to catch them. So all in all, I really enjoyed reviewing this assessment. And other than that, have a wonderful day.